Hi, welcome to our lesson on slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. So we had looked at the equation for the slope of a line, and if you remember, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, regardless of where your 2 points are, as long as you always pick the same point for 2 and the same point for 1. So I've got a bunch of points here. We're going to look at parallel and perpendicular lines, and I'm out of the screen. So just a reminder, when you look at parallel lines, the slopes are going to have equal slopes. When you look at perpendicular lines, they have slopes that are negative reciprocals of each other. So quick reminder, reciprocals means that we are flipped upside down. So for example, if my first slope is 2/3 and my second slope is 2/3, we know that those two lines are parallel. If my first slope is 2/3 and my second slope is -3/2, you can see that 1, it's flipped upside down, and 2, they have opposite signs. That's what it means to be a negative reciprocal. So it has to be both, flipped upside down and opposite signs. If it's just 1, it's not a negative reciprocal. So if it's flipped upside down but the same sign, they are not perpendicular, they are not parallel. If it is opposite signs but not reciprocals of each other, again, not perpendicular, not parallel, they're just different slopes. So we have an example where we have a bunch of points here, all listed on our board, and we're going to look at some pairs of lines to see which one of those pairs fits into any of these categories. So our first pair, AB, we're going to put into our slope formula, which I put right there already. So if we take our point A as our point 1 and our point B as our point 2, this becomes 4 minus 7 over 5 minus 4, right? Taking my y1 minus my y2 minus my y1 over my x2 minus my x1. So this becomes -3/1. That alone tells us nothing except for the slope of the line AB. Now we're going to compare it to the line CD. So for that point, I'm going to take this as my point 2, this is my point 1, so I'm going to go 4 minus 3 for the y's. And 8 minus 5 for my x's. And I can see from the slopes now, they are upside down from each other, right? If I flip 3/1 upside down, I get 1/3. This one's negative, this one's positive, so these two lines are perpendicular. So this symbol right here is just a quick way of writing perpendicular lines. And then we've got a couple other pairs, but we've got one of the same lines in each of the other pairs, so the slope of AB we've already calculated. So we're just going to reuse this one as -3/1. So now to do CE, I'm going to take E as my point 2 and C as my point 1, so 2 minus 3. Over 8 minus 5. And I get a result of -1/3. So you can see that this is the reciprocal of slope AB, but they have the same sign. So we would say that AB and CE are neither parallel nor perpendicular. And our last example, we already have slope of AB. And so we're going to compare that to the slope of CF. So again, I'm going to use my F as point 2, so -3, subtract 3 on top. and 7 minus 5 on the bottom. Don't forget to reduce when you can. So after we reduce, we see, yes, it's the same slope as our AB, so we can say that CF is parallel to AB. And again, I've used a little notation there we haven't seen before, the parallel line symbol. And we'll cut it there.